Mark, I've got a load cell in an application, and I think we've referred to in some prior discussions that, not all load cells are obviously used indoors, 70 degrees, 50% humidity. So we know that we temperature compensate most of our load cells for a specific range for the industry standard, and then others that may be OEM to a different temperature standard. Why are load cells affected by temperature, and how do we correct for that?
Well, because we've got a Wheatstone bridge inside of a load cell, and they have incredibly high resolution. They'll pick up everything. They will certainly pick up the expansion or contraction of the actual body or the element of the load cell as it goes through a temperature cycle. So what do we do to compensate for that? Well, there is something called a compensated temperature range. And what we do is we'll place the load cell in an environmental chamber, and we'll run it down to a cold temperature soak, and we'll see what happens with its output. And then we'll run it up to a high temperature soak, and again, we'll see what happens with its output. And then to compensate for those changes that are happening due to the expansion or the contraction of the metal element of the load cell body itself, we'll put correction resistors on the exit leads or the signal leads of the load cell. And they can be something simple like a special type of wire, but generally speaking, it's what's called in the industry a thermistor or a temp resistor. And what that does is they inversely change the resistance based on temperature. So when we say we've got a temperature compensated range of say 0 to 150 degrees, we've gone in and put what they call corrections in the output signal leads. So those variations that we are compensating to are defined on the calibration data sheet as well as the data sheet for the load cell itself. So you can see how much correction we've done, but that's why we do it. And it's a great question because anybody that starts thinking about how a load cell operates, certainly that load cell is going to be affected by temperature because it's going to affect the actual metal element. So again, we do correct for it through compensation resistors, and that's how we take care of the changes that happen through temperature.
Nice explanation. Thanks a lot, Mark.